I am reading of the birth of Jesus from the Gospel of Matthew, from chapters 1 and 2, as is written in Dr. Tim Jennings' expanded paraphrase, The Remedy. Matthew chapter 1, verse 1. Jesus Christ was a descendant of Abraham and of David. Here is his family line. Inverted commas, which you can read for yourself. I'm going to jump down to verse 16. And Jacob was the father of Joseph, the husband of Mary, of whom Jesus, who is the Messiah, was born. So there were 14 generations from Abraham to David, and 14 generations from David to the exile to Babylon, and 14 generations from the exile to the Messiah. Verse 18. The birth of Jesus Christ happened like this. Mary, his mother, was engaged to Joseph, but before they had physical intimacy, she was already pregnant by the Holy Spirit. Because Joseph wanted to do what was right for Mary, and he didn't want to disgrace or humiliate her publicly, he planned to end his engagement quietly. But before he could do this, an angel from God appeared to him in a dream and said, Joseph, son of David, don't be afraid to marry Mary. She is pregnant by the Holy Spirit, not by any man. She will have a son, and you are to name him Jesus, God heals, because he will heal and restore humanity from selfishness and sin. All of this happened just as the Lord foretold through his spokesperson. The virgin will become pregnant and give birth to a son, and they will call him Emmanuel, which means God with us. Verse 24. When Joseph awoke, he did just what the Lord's angel had instructed him to do. He married Mary and brought her home as his wife, but they didn't have sex until after she gave birth to a son, whom they named Jesus. Matthew chapter 2, from verse 1. Jesus was born in a small Judean town called Bethlehem, during the rule of King Herod. At that time, scholars and scientists from the East came to Jerusalem searching for Jesus. They inquired, We saw a new star in the sky, the star of the newborn King of the Jews. Where is he, that we can worship him? This news stirred up excitement in Jerusalem, but King Herod was extremely agitated when the report reached him. He called together the nation's religious leaders, theologians and lawyers, and asked them to tell him where the Messiah was to be born. They told him, in a little town called Bethlehem in Judea. God's spokesperson wrote, Bethlehem in Judah. You are certainly not the least important in Judah, because from you will come the prince who will restore my people. Herod called a secret meeting with the scientists and scholars from the East and discovered the exact time the star had appeared. Then he sent them to Bethlehem, telling them, Make a thorough search. When you find the child, tell me right away, so that I can also come and worship him. After talking with the king, they were excited to complete their journey, so they followed the star they had seen in the east until it stopped over the place where Jesus was, and they were so happy to see that star. When they arrived at the house, they saw Jesus in the arms of his mother Mary, and they fell down in adoration, worshipping him. They gave him expensive gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. God had warned them in a dream not to tell Herod where Jesus was, so they returned to their homeland by a different route. After the scholars had gone, an angel from God came to Joseph in a dream and said, Wake up! Herod is plotting to kill baby Jesus. He will soon send soldiers looking for him. So take the child and his mother and escape to Egypt. Wait there until I tell you it is safe to return. Joseph got up immediately, quickly packed what he could, took baby Jesus and Mary and fled that night for Egypt. They stayed in Egypt until Herod died. Thus God's prophecy, "I called my son back from Egypt," was fulfilled. When Herod realized that the professors from the East had not been duped by his scheme, he was furious and ordered all the boys in Bethlehem and its vicinity under 2 years of age to be killed. He determined the age based on the scholars' report of when the star appeared. Thus, Jeremiah's prophecy was fulfilled. An outcry was heard in Ramah, the sound of heart-breaking weeping. Rachel, sobbing for her children, and unable to be comforted because they are dead. After Herod died, an angel from God appeared in a dream to Joseph, who was in Egypt, and said, "It's time to go home. Take the child and his mother back to Israel, as those who sought to kill the child are dead." As instructed, he took the child and his mother home to Israel, after learning that Herod's son Archelaus was reigning in Judea, and after receiving a warning in a dream. Joseph was afraid to go back to Judea, so instead he went to Galilee and lived in a town called Nazareth. Thus it was fulfilled what was prophesied through God's spokespersons: he will be called a Nazarene.